be talking to you soon.
Hey guys. So as usual, let me know when you guys can all hear me. And one of the odd things, do you see this as a yellow shirt? It's same one I was wearing in the video, but I'm seeing it as yellow. So I'm just going to keep talking until you guys actually tell me you can hear me. Hey, there we go. Okay, so we're going to slow down the questions. Max should be doing that right about now. As always, let's try to stay on subject. Subject for today would be obviously the TDD armor, the current stretch goal, and of course the PAT testing in general, like the question about DX10 and cards. And yes, we're making progress on cards. We've actually even had one of our backers send us a card, one of his extra cards that's a bit older, so we can put it on a build, put it on a PC build, so we can test the current build to isolate what's going on that card. We've also been in touch with NVIDIA as well, so yeah, we're trying to make you know, a fair amount of progress, especially for this point in time, to try to get as many of our backers in as possible into the PATs. Okay, so class details, good question, because I've been talking about it. I sent the Warrior concept document around to the team. I got some feedback. I want to get some additional feedback. Hopefully within 2 weeks, we can really talk about it. Yeah, I'm actually working on another class document right now. Had an idea, not for the class, but just for the backstory that I'm working on. Question about, will there be parts of your armor that won't be dyeable? Probably. I don't want to say 100%, but certainly I think if we want the court armor to actually mean something, then being able to dye the court armor the wrong color probably wouldn't fit with the idea of court armor. Can you change your armor once we're aligned with the court? So look, just keep in mind that the court idea is not even close to being written in stone right now. It was just an idea for how to not only give the players a bit more realm pride or a bit more organization, excuse me, within the realm, but also to give Michelle and Sandra some additional info on jumping off points for the armor. And from what I can see from your comments during the video, you seem to like the whole concept of courts and armor that matches. I think they did, as usual, an outstanding job on it, and I'm really excited to see that in the game. Sinekin, will there be any kind of interaction between the TDD armor seasons and the actual seasons? At minimum, I mean, there would be certainly an aesthetic difference. You know, certainly if you are out in the snow and you're wearing the court armor of winter, you will blend in a bit better. There may be issues, such as, you know, maybe during the seasons, certain magic or certain, in this case, the court armor may not function quite as well. But honestly, that's just an idea. You know, we have to get a lot of other things right before we even think about something like that for this game. Will the different courts give in-game benefits? Don't know yet. Again, it is just the earliest concept of how to do some more organization within the TDD realm, just as we could do that, extend that as well to the Vikings and the Arthurians. Piranha, probably the same answer to you. Too early to tell, but most likely yes. I don't really want to start causing issues by segregating certain classes from certain courts. And it may, honestly, it may be nothing more than aesthetic. Seth, I responded already to that about armor being affected by the seasons. You probably just came in. The answer is yes, it may be. Thoughts on armor weathering or aging? Yes, absolutely. Jason, just a quick question about what kind of diet and exercise plan I'm on. Atkins, low carb, though I try to watch the fat as well on that, and I go to the gym 4 to 5 times a week. Dub 6, yes, we wouldn't do it just for the TDD. If we're going to give the any sort of organization within a realm to one realm, we'd really have to extend it to all 3 realms. Could player-generated music be added? Absolutely. Red, no comment so far, or at least on weapons. Haven't talked about it yet. I certainly don't want to waste our time until we're really sure about it. So, you know, I don't think it's going to happen in the near term, but we'll see what happens over the next 6 months or so. The Banshee redesign is not really lore affecting. There is actually a new story being worked on by Max, but it is my story, my original story, that he has fleshed out quite a bit, and done a very nice job on it. Chad, great question about would ears have an effect on the court armor. Absolutely, it's something we have discussed with the artists while they were creating that art. It won't be a problem. I don't want to spend too much time on the question of hacks, but I will say one of the great advantages, of course, having server-based physics is you can hack your client, and even though the client says that you are in XYZ, and the server says, well, no, you really can't be there, you can't make that jump, your ability can't throw that spell, that will solve some of the problems that you can have with hacking and that we had, you know, obviously with Dark Age and even with Warhammer. Vasir, the next PAT is on Friday. Can we expect armor or weapon that has a different look in day and night? I certainly hope so. Question about the sound engineer. Don't know yet. It depends when we get him or her, and whether, and frankly, how much they want. We do have a range that we can obviously spend based on the stretch goal. So, you know, we've got to be smart about it, and so we haven't decided 100% whether they would be handled as an outside contractor or as a full-time employee. As you guys know from listening to me for many years, I really don't like hiring and firing, that kind of cycle. So we're going to be very smart on this. A question about how ears is really impacting the design of armor right now? Not in a major way. I mean, Michelle and Sandra understand the system. They understand the concepts behind it, so it's not a big deal. And frankly, at this point, what I want to see from them, which they, obviously keep delivering on, is, give us glory, give us great things to shoot for. Not things that are not practical, like everything they do, they think about afterwards, or we go through certainly afterwards and go, okay, can this actually work in the game? But their job right now is to keep coming up with great concepts that we want to implement. And I think the fall and the winter court armor certainly is that. Are we going to make placeholder sounds? Maybe. It would really depend on timing, like if we wanted to go ahead and license the engine, the sound engine we told you guys about, the WYs, and then buying or finding some cheap sounds just to throw in. Yeah, we could do that. I certainly don't want to waste any major amounts of programmer time right now. Question about what's the point of choosing a court. As per earlier, it may be purely aesthetic or it may be something a little more important. The only way, however, that it becomes important would be if we could make it work for all the courts. Yeah, I try to actually read the question, but I just don't. Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you, Link. I just try not to read the entire question because sometimes questions are kind of long, and other times people will say, "Oh, come on, just give me the answer. I know what the question is." Oh, Travi, I'm not going to answer that now. Nice try, though. Will there be any exotic weapons, polearms in the game? Yeah. We want to have some really cool weapons. We just don't want to have weapons that necessarily are historically accurate or boring. We certainly want to see if we can get some cool stuff in. Oh, Travi, we love all of our backers. Piranha, this is fine. This is a good question, even though it's not quite on point. Any idea if all three realms will have the same armor? The answer is no, they will not, and not just aesthetically. We have talked about that, hey, part of the advantage of the Arthurians is going to be their very heavy armor. So there will be differences, just as there'll be differences in magic, there'll be differences in weapons. We're not mirroring that stuff. Question about will there be cloaks with guild emblems? We certainly hope so. That is something we have talked about, so I would expect there will be. Question about could the silver arm be considered a weapon? Yes. Question about when they can start breaking the crafting system. Well, guys, we have to lay it out first. We've told you that that's not going to be a focus of ours in the next few months. We have a lot of things that have to get in first. So we're not going to try to rush something out that's, I don't want to say that's crap. We just don't want to rush anything out that's either a placeholder or simply, not good enough. So we're going to take a little longer to get that right because we have other things that we have to get right first. Question about, do we have anyone knows their way about the streaming aspect of the game? Will there be anything built into the game? The answer is yes, on both counts. One of the things that we have talked about, for example, talked about publicly, is the ability of people to, essentially put cameras, bobs, remember the floating eye,